Okay, we are live on the channel, so it's about 4 minutes till we actually are live for the 11 o'clock.
Board members, the time is now 11 a.m. You can begin whenever you're ready.
I'm trying to determine if we have a quorum. One, two, three, four. I believe we have a quorum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a quorum. I'll wait for just a minute longer to start. Ms. Ralph, are you here? Is someone from the law department here?
We don't see anyone yet, President Wilkerson.
Lynn just signed on.
Sorry, I got kicked out and had to rejoin. Can you hear me?
I think we'll start. Can board members hear me? I frequently will have a poor connection. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Dr. MacGyver,
Yes.
if I drop off, please pick up the script and carry on the meeting. I don't know that our vice president's going to be with us today, so I will ask that you pick up in the event my internet becomes too pathetic.
Okay, I got it.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. Okay, good morning and thank you for joining us this morning for this special meeting of the Board of Education. This meeting is held annually to authorize the issuance of tax revenue anticipation notes along with other general business. Ms. Rauch, would you please call the roll?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Mr. Akbar?
Present.
Ms. Danzy?
Present.
Vice President Ahi Hinton?
She
Vice
may not be
President Ahi
joining us
Hinton
today.
is not here. Ms. Fix Lopez?
Here.
Mr. Huang?
Present.
Dr. McColgan? I believe Dr. McColgan is not here. Dr. MacGyver?
Present.
President Wilkerson?
Present.
Thank you. And Dr. Height?
I
Present.
Thank you.
believe we have a quorum. Is that correct, Ms. Rauch?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The board will consider the minutes of the June 25th meeting at our next regular action meeting on July 23rd. Now I'd like to invite Dr. MacGyver to provide important information for our guests. Dr. MacGyver?
Sure. Good morning. At every board meeting, a representative from the Deaf Hearing Communication Center is here to provide sign language interpretation of the proceedings. The proceedings of this meeting are being streamed live on the internet at www.philasd.org/live and can be seen on PSTV's Comcast Channel 52 and Verizon Fios Channel 20. The proceedings are also being recorded by the School District of Philadelphia. The school district's recordings are protected by the copyright laws of the United States and may not be used in any manner without the express written consent of the school district. By participating in today's meeting, members of the public acknowledge that the school district may use its recordings for any purpose without obtaining permission or paying any compensation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. MacGyver. At this time, we're to consider the issuance of tax revenue anticipation notes to facilitate maintenance of operations prior to receiving local and state revenues for school purposes. The school district's chief financial officer, Ori Munson, will brief the board regarding the resolution authorizing this transaction for the TRAN and the note purchase agreement. Mr. Munson?
Thank you, and good morning, board members. Can everyone hear me okay?
Mhm.
Okay. As you mentioned, the TRAN is a short-term cash flow borrowing, which we do every year to smooth out the differences between expenditures and revenues throughout the year. If you go to the next slide, please. So we did market the TRANs yesterday. It's the second time we've publicly offered TRANs in the past 12 years. We issued just over $533 million of the TRANs. This is a higher amount than we've done the past couple of years, mainly because of the cash flow and reduced cash we have because of the COVID impact on the economy. We did very well in the market. The yield, so the interest rate is 0.55%, 55 basis points. For some perspective, the TRAN yield last year was 1.42%. As you may recall, we had talked about a month ago, because of uncertainty in the market, we had put out an inquiry for direct placements, so rather than going to the public market, just to make sure we would have available credit. The bids at that time were at a rate of 1.6. So clearly we did better in the market. Combination of factors, including obviously we're dependent on what interest rates are in the general market, which have trended lower, and we were able to take advantage of it. We had an excellent team, and I do want to mention in particular Erin Davis, the deputy CFO, who oversees a lot of these, all of our capital and debt area. Our financial analyst support, Andre Allen in Phoenix. We had 5 underwriters led by Bank of America. During the sale, we generated more than $2.3 billion in orders. That's about 4.5 times oversold. Over 20 investors participated, over $7 million in retail orders, which is very unusual in a low interest rate environment. So we got a lot of disparate interest, which is a very good sign. Prior to the bond sale, we did have conversations with Fitch and Moody's. They resulted in affirming the district's current underlying rating and also got the highest short-term ratings, a MIG 1 from Moody's and an F1 plus from Fitch. I want to really stress the fact that particularly Moody's doing reaffirming the current underlying rating and outlook remaining unchanged despite the economic challenges is a very healthy sign. There are obviously a lot of folks getting downgraded right now, so that we maintained our investment grade rating was a particular note during the transaction and going out to market. And I think I also neglected to mention our bond counsel during this as part of our team, Eckert Siemens. So we was a really good team. We got an excellent result, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Joyce, you're still on mute. Joyce, you're on mute.
I'll start with Mr. Akbar, Ms. Danzy. Are there any questions for Mr. Munson? Ms. Fix Lopez, Mr. Wong, I see you have a question. Mr. Wong.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Question for Mr. Monson. Are you aware of other large school districts that have had a change in credit status as a result of the tumult of this past year?
Not everybody has gone to market yet, so we're kind of watching to see what's going to happen. We've seen some non-school districts, some local governments and state governments. So we're kind of waiting to see it. Yesterday in the market, for example, it was the Los Angeles County, but not the school district. So we were able to see what's going on with them, as well as the New York Transit Authority, were the other largest issuers in yesterday's market. But it is something we're going to be watching going forward, as obviously there are a lot of districts, a lot of places facing economic uncertainty.
Thank you.
Ms. Fix Lopez, do you have any questions? I see Dr. McCulkin, you're here. Please note that she's present.
Yes, Dr. McColgan, could you just say present for the record?
Dr. McCulkin, do you have any questions?
Yes, present. I
Dr.
do not.
McIver?
No,
Thank you.
present. I do not have any questions.
Trash that
Sorry.
is around,
Can somebody mute me? I don't know how to do it.
any trash that's around,
And,
I don't have any questions.
all right, thank you. Next on our agenda is hearing from our student speakers and registered speakers who were registered to speak on action items we're considering at this meeting. However, today we have only speakers on general topics, so we'll proceed directly to the vote and hear from our speakers after we voted on today's business. It's now time to vote on our action items. Board members, can I have a motion and a second to consider action item 1?
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion, any questions? Ms. Rout, please call the vote.
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Akbar,
Yes.
Ms. Danzy,
Yes.
Ms. Fix Lopez,
Yes.
Mr. Huang,
Yes.
Dr. McColgan.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. McIver.
Dr.
Yeah.
McCulkin, I believe you're muted.
She said yes. Thank you. Dr. McIver,
Yes.
President Wilkerson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Our next item is action item 2, a personnel item. Is there a motion and a second to consider action item number 2?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second? It's been moved and properly seconded. Are there any questions or discussion on action item number 2? I see no hands raised, and so we will, Ms. Rao, please take the vote.
Mr. Akbar,
Yes.
Ms. Danzy,
Yes.
Ms. Fix Lopez,
Yes.
Mr. Huang,
Yes.
Dr. McIver,
Yes.
President Wilkerson.
Yes.
Thank you. Both action items 1 and 2 passed by votes of 7 in favor, 0 opposed. We had a quorum for both votes and both have passed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rao. We'll now hear from speakers registered on general topics. As a reminder, we'll be strictly enforcing the 3-minute per speaker time limit. There's an electronic time prompt that'll be shared on the screen. When the timer goes off, your time is up. Ms. Rao, please call our first speaker.
Thank you, Madam President. Our first speaker is Alex Rosario Pio Castilla. Is Alex here, or can our host tell us if Alex will be joining?
He is not yet present.
Okay, we'll go to our next speaker, Karima, welcome. And for our host, please let me know if our first speaker joins and if we should move him to the end. Thank you. Is Karima welcome here?
Absent also.
Okay, thank you. Next is, I apologize if I mispronounce this, Mirangeli Torres.
Also currently absent.
Okay, thank you. Danita Bates.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can start. Thank you.
Thank you, board members. Dr. Height, thank you. You know, you have my total support always. I have 3 questions. The first question is, are there any emergency monies due to the COVID for our school buildings being defumigated, and that we can be that it can be trusted for the safety of the students and the staff for the protection of the COVID? The other question is food distribution. Would there be an obligation for food distribution to be extended throughout the whole summer, or until we return back to the school buildings? Those are my 2 questions.
Thank you, Ms. Bates, for the questions. To the first question,
it is, yes, a plan is to, I think you said fumigate, that we tend to say sanitized. And so I think the buildings are to be sanitized. Every building will be sanitized before children go back. And then even after they come back, there will be plans to sanitize buildings on a regular basis. And the second question is, yes, we are continuing the food distribution. It's only at 42 sites through the summer. So those sites will be available through the summer. We will once again give 5 breakfast meals and 5 lunch meals on every Thursday from 9 a.m. to noon. In addition, there are sites that the city has opened up as well that are in and around the schools that used to be sites but are no longer sites because of work that's being done. And you can look up those sites by visiting the phila.gov website.
Can I have another question? Can you?
Joyce, you're muted.
I apologize. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ms. Bates.
Yes,
Thanks
we
for the
can hear you.
response, Dr. Height. I appreciate that. I do also give out lunches and snacks throughout the summer. However, Duckery School was one of the locations. So can that still be available for Duckery to still have the food distribution, as that we gave out over 500 meals a day almost?
Yes, thank you for I'll get to you, Ms. Bates. I think Duckery is having work done this summer, which then creates a challenge with it being a distribution site. But we have other sites that are very close to Duckery that we've identified, and I can get that information to you. And thank you for also distributing meals as well.
Thank you, Dr. Height. Are there any other speakers, Ms. Rao?
President Wilkerson, I just received word that Danita Bates was our only speaker, but I will ask our host if anybody else joined, including the last speaker who was identified was Jamil Gordon.
Ms. Rao, we do have Ms. Karima on the line.
Okay. Thank you. If you could please connect her. You can start. You can please start your remarks. Is Karima Welcome on the line?
Ms. Rao, she's been in and out. We seem to have lost connectivity with her once again.
Okay, then that's unfortunate. It appears we are finished with our speaker section of the meeting. Thank you, President Wilkerson.
Thank you. And I asked staff to please invite her to join us at our meeting later on in July. And we regret the technical difficulties. And thank you, Ms. Rao. Want to thank Mr. Munson, Aaron Davis, and the finance team for their excellent work on this. These are challenging times for Dr. Height and the entire team, and to have such great results is a real acknowledgement to the wonderful work that the district has done over the years to build credibility with the rating agencies, and so we thank you for all that. Board members, is there any other business that we need to take care of today? I don't see any hands. Hearing none, I now move to adjourn the public meeting of the Board of Education. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you. The Board of Education, the meeting of the Board of Education is adjourned.